team has been really good this week. I mean, it's every day. It's 2 or 3 trucks of plants, of stuff. So the following week last year, it let loose. So it went from snow to glorious. And it could be glorious today and snow tomorrow. You never know. It's March. It's March in the mountains. So I know it's very much. It looks like the season is 3 weeks early. It totally looks, when you look at the long range, I'm telling the team, just bring it all in. We'll take it all. So next week, what's that?
You're live. I'm just testing.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, not to interrupt. I'm just here testing things. Don't
Cool.
let me. Technology is a beautiful thing.
Tech
Yeah,
is
so
a
it comes through on the
challenge.
computer.
It does.
So
Okay.
it just won't come through on the
Here. Then I'll do this. Perfect. I'll share this. So this will be for those folks online.
Yep.
This will be for.
Yep. And don't forget to share about the AI thing later today. The photos people can
Oh, yeah. Okay. Coffee. Okay, good. Cool. Yeah, that's great. Coffee. Do I have coffee up here?
Don't forget
Yeah, I know. Let me, let's do this. So does that freak out the, oh, perfect. Good. Yeah, cool. Okay, let me just start with, what do I start with? Okay, so I'm a coffee snob. I could go through life and just drink coffee, no Gatorade, no water, just coffee. So I kind of get, it's the middle of the day, I kind of get like this, and I go, oh, maybe I should switch to tea or Gatorade or something else. So we started roasting our own coffee because I've got my favorite blends. It's kind of like tea or whatever. I've got my spring blend, which is more lighter, more fruity. I've got my summer blend, more iced coffee. Got my fall blend, which is more of a earthy, richer. And my winter blends are usually Cubans or some rich, thick. Oh my gosh, it's dark outside. I'm going to sit here and drink coffee. Right now, I go outside. I'm on the patio, reading the paper, drinking my coffee, watching the hummingbirds, watching the water fountain go. So we're literally roasting our own beans now. Seems weird for a garden center to do that, but if you really like coffee, we roast. And coffee is about freshness. It's not about variety or where it came from. It's about freshness. So our first blend is Garden Grounds. This is for you all, Garden Grounds coffee. We have it whole beans and ground. It was roasted on Monday, literally here locally, Monday. We don't roast it here on site. We're out by the airport, but basically we're roasting our beans. Take a look at it. You'll like it. It's only available at Waters Garden Center because this is our blend. So we're planning on introducing 4 blends. I kind of know what the winter and fall blends are. I'm not sure about the summer, so playing with that one. I got a couple of my favorites. I can only pick one. God, life is so hard. This is an Ethiopian goji goji coffee. It's grown at high altitude in a volcanic soil, which makes it kind of a sweeter coffee blend. So did I cover that well enough, Mackenzie? Oh, and there's samples at the back. That's awesome. Yeah, very good. You guys are so good. Sip and Shop, mentioned that, right? Let me just check off the list. Sip and Shop. So we're trying to host a Sip and Shop once a month. And what it is, it's just fun for gardeners. So it's after hours, 4 to 6 or so. I think next Tuesday is our second Sip and Shop of the year. And we just give you wine. We have some cheese, and you go shop. It's a hoot. It's super fun. I'll usually give a tour of the garden center, what's new, a walkabout. So just super fun. Bring a friend, bring a neighbor. You'll enjoy it. So it's just kind of a fun thing. It's building. We tried it last year, and it went over so well. We got to do this more often. So St. Patty's Day, come 4 to 6, and then go have your corned beef and potato stew after that. So bring a date, bring a neighbor, bring a friend. It's a fun thing. So there'll probably be, you might want to come a little bit early because last time we had like 100 people here. So it packs out the place, but it's just fun. It's super casual kind of things. That's Sip and Shop. Today, we've got a garden class for you. And it's not so much a class. So this is our spring launch. So 64 years ago, Harold Waters, my father-in-law, started Waters Garden Center. He started this event in the spring, just to kind of showcase the start of spring. I started with the garden center, so I married his youngest daughter, Lisa, and she's here someday. We had kids, and we had that protege, Mackenzie. She's our youngest of 4, so we're so proud of her. So I started back in 1992. I can't believe it's been that long. So we've been doing this for 4 years. We've done this event every year I've been here. So just every year we have a spring open house. We invite our growers and our suppliers in. So I thought I would just have them come up one at a time and share something that they're seeing at the farm, trends, some new plant, something that tickles their fancy, and then we can interview them. I don't know where this is going to go. I have no plan. I just thought it would be good for you all to, and then you can talk to them afterwards. But our supply chain, our farms, basically, here's our philosophy. If I could take the owner out to dinner, I know their kids, I can pet their dog, we can probably do business. If you're a mega corporation and all you care about is stockholders share and shoving more stuff through the system, that's not our supply chain. You won't find that here. This is unique, family-owned farms are here. Or it's a co-op. We're part of the owners. So all of our hard goods are the fertilizers, bug killers, we own part of the company. So it's a true co-op, like a farmer's co-op. We actually have stocks and we only buy from them. It's only their stuff that we support. And then we have influence over what's being manufactured, safer, better. So so they're here today and you get to talk to them or hear from them and you can talk to them afterwards. So that's where we're going today. You can leave whenever you want or stay as long as you want. We'll go in for probably about an hour and then we'll let you go. Okay. So then you go shop and buy plants. Yeah, that's what we want. So let's start with Dave Dickey. Dave is Woodburn Nursery. He is probably the foremost. Come on up, Dave. Yeah, please do. Yeah, put it right here. It's perfect. It's big enough. We can show it off right here. Perfect. I love it. This is perfect. We'll take hold it up strap, get it out of here. Dave he's a lot of the lilacs you see out here, the shrubs, many of the perennials, those plants that come back every year. Dave's our guy. If we run out of something or we're going, hey, how's the crop looking? He takes us out in the farm, we look it right out there. He tours us around. He makes sure we get the best of the best. So you got to make sure you wine and dine your key people. He's one of our key people for the best plants. And so literally our plants are a little better. They're not just a little, they're a lot better because we got Dave's out there to help us kind of curate when things are looking their best, their peak. So Dave, Woodburn Nursery, why don't you just tell us a little about Woodburn, what you got going there? Tell us about yourself. How'd you get into this business?
Thank you for wining and dining us last night.
You were welcome.
We had a nice time.
You're welcome. Oh, here. I should give this. Yeah, you take that.
Okay. Is that a microphone?
Here, do this one. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Thank you, Ken. We had a great time wining and dining last night. Woodburn Nursery is a fabulous nursery out in Oregon. It's actually in Woodburn, Oregon. It's about an 800-acre nursery. We grow anything from beautiful 1-gallon perennials up to 10-gallon evergreens. A lot of shrubs in between there. Family-owned company. They've been in business for about 75 years. This is Crystal Frost. This is a brand new Arizona cypress that was introduced about 5 years ago. I was introduced through a branded program called Plant Select. Some of you may be familiar with Plant Select. Some of you may not be. Think of it as the proven winners of the Intermountain region. It was started in Colorado by the Botanic Gardens and CSU and a bunch of local nurseries. But essentially, what Plant Select does is they bring great plants that do really well in the Intermountain region to gardeners and garden centers for you guys to have great plants that do well here. Crystal Frost was found in New Mexico many years ago, and it was finally brought to market. But it's a really great Arizona cypress, so it's native to here, extremely drought tolerant. This is a variety that stays a little bit more narrow. It's going to be more in that 15 to 20-ish width, and then probably about 30, 35 feet tall. So great evergreen for your front yard. Really, really nice bright blue to it. Grows fairly quickly too, which is another great attribute. A lot of evergreens tend to grow a little bit slower. Your pines, your spruces, things like this. Arizona cypress tends to grow very quickly. It has a really nice fragrance to it too. Yeah. So if you do that, has a really nice smell to it. Once it flushes, it's going to be a little bit brighter blue. It kind of gets a little bit off color during the winter, but really kind of brightens up. It's a little bit different than some of the other cultivars. It's a little bit, how do I want to say it? A little bit fuller than blue ice. Has a little bit different look than some of the other cultivars of Arizona cypress. It's also a little bit hardier. Not that that's an issue here, but it can go into some of the colder regions than some of the other Arizona cypress. This was found in a much higher elevation than some of the other Arizona cypress. So that's Crystal Frost.
I love it. So it's a #1 seller for evergreens, Arizona cypress. They grow wild down in Skull Valley. You'll just see forests of them. They kind of look like, no, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
coming through it. Just
Got it,
coming
got
through
it.
the speaker, but it is through for you folks online. So we see you. You tuned in. Come down and visit us this afternoon. So Arizona cypress, the way you can tell the difference between cypress and juniper, cypress put on a pine cone, junipers put on a berry. So if you're walking out in the forest and you see a big, that's not a berry, that's actually a pine cone, and it'll form a seed. That's how it populates. Junipers, right now, they're going crazy. If your allergies are going nuts, that's because all the male junipers just spread all their pollen everywhere. You can't get away from it. These guys don't do that. First of all, we don't sell the boys. We only sell the girls for this because they're brighter, prettier, slender. They just look good in the landscape. So females are junipers. We only sell the females. We don't want to spread pollen around. So they're easier to propagate, they're hardier, they're better. So it's kind of we can control what kind of plants we're growing here, and Dave helps us do that. So this is an excellent variety for screening, wind protection, getting headlights coming through the front windows. I'm going to block that out. Your neighbor's got a barn that they just put up and their RVs right in your face. This will block that right out quickly. So you're talking 18 inches a year, pretty quick. It looks innocent, but it will be 20 by 15, like in pretty short order. So put it in the ground, it'll root the first year. The next year it starts to take off, and the third year it just goes whoosh, goes nuts.
Great drought tolerance.
Oh, super drought tolerant. In fact, probably once it gets up to the size you want, we don't have to water it or sporadically.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's a true local native.
Yep.
And this is a brighter blue. This is its winter look. It gets prettier from here. Since it flushes out in spring, starts to glow, literally glow.
Yeah.
A blue kind of thing. So, Dave, tell us something personal. What's your favorite? If you're on an island, you only get one plant, and it can't be this.
Oh, geez.
What would it be?
How do you
One
ask
plant.
a plant person what your favorite
One
plant
I
is?
know what mine is.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, I know. That's really unfair. What is your favorite plant? I'm like going through my yard, okay?
That my customers can buy this afternoon.
Oh, geez. Now we're really limiting things because I just saw my favorite plant in my yard and nobody's got it. Well, then it's going to be Prairie Petite Lilac, which is the only true dwarf lilac that I'm aware of that is actually a dwarf lilac. There are lots of lilacs out there that say they're a dwarf, but this lilac literally in my yard grows 2 to 3 inches a year. And you'll see the plants over there, and they're small because they are a truly dwarf lilac. It's an old-fashioned lilac. The flowers get about this big. It's a nice lavender bloom on it. It reliably blooms every year, but they will stay very small in your yard. Mine's been in my yard. It was like this big when I planted it. It is now about this big by this big about 8 years later. So it is a truly dwarf lilac. We have them in stock over there. They're just starting to bud. Prairie Petite would be
awesome.
a great
It's
plant.
a great choice.
Yep.
Great, super choice.
Yep.
No pruning. Just plant it.
Yes.
Never have to care for it again.
Yes.
It stays. Keeps its size.
Yes. Never touch it.
Most lilacs get huge.
Yep.
So thank you, Dave.
Right.
So tell us about Woodburn again and how long you've been working for them. You've been in the industry forever. Our families go way back.
Yep. Long time. I've been in the industry for over 25 plus years, selling and working at a garden center and landscaping and, pulling weeds at my grandpa's house. Woodburn Nursery, I've been with them for over 14 years. They're just a really great company. I was really lucky to partner with them, and they've really embraced our market and really gone after the plants we need. And they've just done a great job of bringing great plants to our market. And the perennial program, like you talked about, they've really excelled there and brought a lot of the Plant Select perennials to market and brought a lot of great plants that do great here to our customers. So yeah.
Give it up for Dave.
Thank you.
Really, we take our team up to their farms every August. And thank you. And then Dave runs us around. Literally, it's like farms. Like we're running around farms, put on hundreds of miles, 1,000 miles, just looking at different plants. We pick them for then, see the crop, and then we bring them in now. So you're always a season ahead, or 2 or 3 seasons ahead. So this was actually picked out by hand last August. Dave that's what he does for us. So he goes, "Dad, got this crop. You got to see it." And so hey, we believe you. We see the microphone. Thank you. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Bill Jones. Bill he's our, he's anything. So our focus is plants and things that make plants grow. Coffee is a little bit off for us because it's kind of not us, but Bill is fertilome, high yield. He's the kills the bugs, kills the weeds. I'll give you this. He'll be stationed downstairs in the inside of the store. So if it makes a plant grow, it keeps it healthy. He's our guy. So if we have questions, Bill, how does this work again? How far do you get? How do I tell customers how many square feet? What kind of weeds will it control? He's our guy. And so this is a co-op. So we own part of Fertilome, Waters Gardens, and we have stocks in that. There's probably, I don't know how many, several hundred of us that got together and said, we need a good source for our things that make plants grow. So Bill is
it's their brand.
Our brand.
The neat thing is it is not sold in Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, Tractor Supply, because the bylaws of Fertilome, it can only be sold to independent garden centers.
Right.
So that's protection for them, for somebody doesn't come in and try to lowball it by going to Walmart or something else. And generally, Walmart sells junk.
You cannot say that word in my store.
I apologize.
Blue or orange on me. So you're talking about what? So Bill, tell us how long you've been in the industry. Give us something personal. What's your favorite plant?
Well, no, you know what? No,
What's your
I'm going to
favorite
give you my favorite product. But first of all, I've been in this industry for about 45 years. And Dexol Chemical was the company I worked for out of Southern California, starting in the 80s.
Wow.
And they went out of business in 2000. And now I've been selling Fertilome for the last 15 years. And it's a great fit because I like the fact that we've got the dealers that are partners, and that he gets, when the company publishes their report, then he's a partner, so he gets a rebate check on the profitability of the company. So the company, if it has a good year, then he is rewarded with his nursery, because the more he bought, the more the rebate is for
part owners. Yeah.
So that's nice.
So anyway,
you know what? I don't have it up here, but my favorite thing is spinosad.
Oh, really?
Because the way it was discovered, okay,
Right.
I've embellished the story. The actual story was in Puerto Rico or in Jamaica, they had a bunch of sugar cane that was pulverized, and it was on the ground just fermenting naturally, and the bugs were coming and they were dying in its presence. But my story was, it was the kilns that were making rum, and the bugs got right to it, and it was like a wall of death, like Alcatraz. They couldn't get out or whatever. And so I thought it was a better story. But the neat thing about spinosad is, one thing for the tomato worms, because it does a lot of bugs, but it does the tomato worms, and usually people would just have to buy BT, and BT is not a good natural insecticide, but it's pretty, it's a one-string banjo. Basically, you buy BT for getting the tomato worms, but you can now use spinosad and get rid of a lot of other pests, plus you can use it for the tomato worms too.
I'm thinking spinosad soap is what it is down.
Yes.
It used to be it only killed caterpillars. Now we've blended it with a little bit of soap, and now it takes out aphids, thrip, caterpillars, beetles. It's
Yes.
kind of a magic.
It
I think it's
is.
better than triple action, the neem oils. I'm starting to use it more than I do the neems, and neem's been my go-to for
Yeah.
20 years because it just is so safe, natural. Got dogs, I got to worry about them. So spinosad soap is the go-to for any kind of bug. I start there,
Yes.
and then I go to the hardcore stuff. So
Well, because the one
grasshoppers,
thing about the insecticide world in the old days, go back to DDT. The guy that invented DDT won the Nobel Prize because it was considered the greatest thing ever because it was cheap and it worked and all that stuff. Then like chloridane, then you had Dursban, all these things. The biggest reason the government wasn't thrilled with these items, you have a thing called LD50, which is they measure how much a lethal dose to kill 50% of the bugs. If it's a low number, that's very lethal. If it's a high number, the government likes it. So some of these things now, the numbers like 5,000, 8,000 versus like 7, the old carbaryl, the number was like 7. And so that tells you how lethal and like, you know, chloridane and all that stuff. So that's another thing, the progression of insecticides. Now they work a lot better. In the old days, the old stuff worked and people would try something else and they'd be disappointed. But a lot of things have changed in the last 30 years.
The most dangerous thing I've ever sold here at the garden center, nicotine sulfate. It's basically tobacco stewed, super deadly if you even look at it wrong. And they sold it in a glass bottle back in the day. I'm going, we used to be
So you're going to drop that.
primitive. We're like cavemen killing bugs.
What,
So much
it was
better
called
now.
Blackleaf
So
40.
much better.
That was the actual brand name. It was called Blackleaf 40, but it was the nicotine he's talking about. And
Oh my gosh.
when you tell
I
people
got
that
rid
you
of
shouldn't
the
smoke
second I could.
nicotine, you know, they use it as an insecticide. Why do you think it's okay to smoke?
So, Bill, you got it before you go. Then we'll have, hey, Douglas, we'll have you go next. Douglas Forrest Armstrong. Hey, Doug, you're up. You're next. Teeing you up, man. You got to tell us about the shirts. What is going on?
Okay. I was showing
Godzilla is-
one of your employees that my cousin Teresa gave me a Godzilla shirt that wouldn't fit. So I said, okay, well, you're going to wear that one. She gave me a new one and we wore them to Disneyland. The kids were marching right past Mickey and coming to us to take pictures. So now the family members, I've got about 10 different ones. And I was telling his daughter and some of the employees, I wear them making dealer calls because they remember, oh, there's Bill Jones. He sells us some fertilizers and we kill it, but he's always got a great Godzilla shirt. And that was enough for me because you make a sales call memorable. They're going to remember, they're going to buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my deal.
Let me have your microphone.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate it, Bill. Thank you. Thanks for having me. So I wanted you to talk about my weed and grass preventer. Fertilize by the end of the month and put this down at the same time. It will take the work out of gardening. This, you put it over your garden areas where weeds pop up and it keeps the seeds from germinating. So it keeps the seeds from coming up. I don't like weeding. I use this twice a year and I don't have weeds. We use this around the nursery. We don't have weeds. So anyway, that's why don't you talk about that, Bill? Come on up, Douglas. So yeah. So Douglas, he is our go-to guy. Here's how I'll let you have that. With Armstrong Growers. Now, Armstrong Growers and retail, they're very big in the Southwest. They got the best plants, flowers, vegetables, herbs, anywhere in the country. They're employee owned, so it's a little bit different. So they're ESOP, but employees, they all are members or owners of their company, and I like that. And so I want to give them as much of my business as far as flowers, perennials, vegetables, and herbs, because they grow a beautiful plant. It's a better plant. It's got a bigger root system than other folks. And so we just use them, and we've been using them for 20, 30, I don't know how long. So
20
forever,
plus years.
long
Yeah.
time. So Douglas is, he's our expert in the greenhouses. So all the pansies are his. We hire them to grow our tomatoes. We go, Douglas, we want these many, we want this variety. They just do that for us. So anyway, tell us about Armstrongs that could tee up enough or.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So I've been with, this is really loud.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, so definitely at least 20 years because I'm working on my 20th year with Armstrong.
Wow.
Like Ken said, we are an ESOP, which does create a different culture. We all have skin in the game because it is part of all of our retirements. But part of that, as an owner, we all make a really conscious decision to only support independent garden centers like Waters Gardens. So we only sell to people like Ken and Lisa. We do not supply any of the box stores or anything like that. So we are always out on the market trying to find things that are unique and different that set independents apart. And then just as far as how we grow, we definitely grow differently. We use the best soil, the best genetics, and we try to grow everything as organically as possible. That's part of our mission statement as a company. So yeah, so when it comes to you, not only are you getting the best genetic plant, it's being grown in the most responsible way to the environment.
Yeah, not every plant is the same, by the way. There are differences. We're famous for like, we're a little bit more expensive, but our plants always live. That's our niche. That if we do that every time, I don't have to compete with Depot and Lowe's anymore,
Right.
because we're better and they do better. But that's because their genetics, we're actually breeding plants that will actually perform better at high altitude with alkalinity in this environment. We're choosing those varieties, and Douglas helps us
Select
put those in production
Mhm.
very much so. Whether it's a rosemary, oregano,
Mhm.
or a pepper plant, we're trying to pick the best soils, the best genetics, because there's stronger bell peppers than others. What's the better one? We're doing that one. We're going it in a bigger size. So his 6-packs, they're not just 6-packs. They're like many. They're bigger cells, bigger
right.
roots.
Mhm.
So they'll transplant better. Because the last thing you want to do is put it in the ground and then it just vaporizes in the sun. That is not good. We want it to be better than that. There's a better experience. As gardeners, if you're bad on this earth, you'll be put in the bad place to plant plants and watch them slowly die for eternity. That's hell for gardeners. We don't want that for our friends. We want success and glory and joy, and we want that. That's better for us. We're trying to pick that. So
yeah, and Armstrong Growers also, what sets us apart from other growers is we have multiple locations within Southern California. So like Ken was mentioning, all of the different varieties that we do grow, we are blessed with the ability to grow them in the best environment. So if it's the desert, it's our Bermuda Dunes, which is Palm Springs. If it needs, just a little less heat, than our Santa Paula, which is Santa Barbara area, and then our Fallbrook location. So yeah, so there's a lot of things about Armstrong that sets us apart.
love you guys.
And
Great.
yeah.
So tell us about a plant.
So a couple of
these are gardeners. They want to know about plants.
So we are having unseasonably warm temperatures, as we all can tell, but some cooler season in case it does chill down a little bit. Primula are really, really great. They take shade. So there's not very many plants that take shade, but also give us flowers. A lot of shade plants are just foliage. So that's a really good one. The Iberis, what a lot of people know as candy tuft, is another really great plant for right now.
That's actually a native. You'll see that growing wild up, like popping up out of the rocks someplace. It's beautiful evergreen perennial.
Yeah, nice, good
mounding. Like this.
mounding.
Mine's in bloom right now. I use it in containers out off the patio. It's just sun and shade. It's a magical plant.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Don't eat it. So Cavallina, deer, they don't bother that. Looks delicious, but nope.
Yep, and then Arissimum is another good one for a cooler season. This is Sunstrong Orange. So it stays a little more compact, but gives you a lot more blooming than some of the other varieties.
Shade or sun?
So this one needs a little sun. It can take a little bit of shade, but yeah, this one needs sun to bloom its head off.
Pollinator.
Yes,
like
good pollinator.
Butterflies. You're gonna love
Bees,
that one.
butterflies, and hummingbirds.
You don't find true orange in flowers.
In a lot of flowers.
That's
true.
A true, beautiful orange.
And then
marigolds.
Correct. And then Petunia, this is our Amore series, which is the Queen of Hearts. So this is a newer variety. We might have seen it last year in very limited numbers, but what's really cool and unique about this one is you can see this ruby red actually creates hearts in each and every single flower all the way around. So cool. Just a really fun one. Does trail, so really good if you need a spiller for a pot, or also will do very well in ground. So
I gotta cut you off there. So and get the next person on.
Oh, that's fine.
So let's go with hey Chris. Chris, you're up next. So before you go,
yes,
if you only had one plant you could take on a desert island, what would the one plant be?
It would be a hosta because that is what got me started in
Oh, really?
gardening with my grandfather and my mother.
Awesome. That's cool. Hostas grow well here, so in the shade. Oh, yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. I've got a couple handouts for you that I'll send. One of them's a top 10 plant list. It doesn't go into detail, but it just has what are the best, what are the top fruit trees, flowering spring shade trees. I'll send that off to you pretty quick. So Chris Shipley.
Yes.
Yeah, my friend. Chris is here. I'll give this so they can hear you online. Chris owns Savano Nursery. He and his family have been doing that for
29
long
years.
time. We have been friends for that long. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So they are probably our best supplier or grower of the true native hardy low maintenance cacti, yuccas, all that drought hardy tough stuff. They got a farm down in Tucson that is just glorious and growing. So they got a retail shop as well. And so I just call Chris and go, Chris, I need some more of this, or I want it to be yellow. I want it to glow in the dark. Yucca. He's got that. He goes, I'll make that happen for you, Ken. So Chris, tell us about Savano's, what's going on there, and then family business.
Family business, 29 years in business. I started when I was 25. I have two brothers. We're all and a father who's 86 this year. He works every day. We all share the business equally, and we all sort of collaborate. And if we don't agree, we may not do that decision. And just over the years, it's just gotten a little bigger every year. We're 140 people strong, 100 acres of growing, and we hit 6 different states. And we make an impact on low water, drought tolerant plants everywhere we go. And we're just not growing the average plant. We are retooling the plants, selecting natives, breeding non-natives to do different things in your yard to provide a better experience with the plants. We're making them shorter, smaller, bloom better. We're taking them to take radical climate events. So if you get a 4-inch rain, it's not going to die. If you get a snap cold, it's not going to die. And we're just breeding for an urban, smaller environment. And we're with the pollinators in mind, pollinator heavy on our plant selections to bring them to
So
your yard.
Chris actually created the best desert willow, which grows wild up here. It grows throughout the state. It's like an Arizona native. He figured out, I don't know how you guys do this, magical, has new genetics where it doesn't put a bean pod on. So our local desert willows bloom and they're glorious. Hummingbirds are so happy and it's so pretty. And then it puts a bean on it, stops blooming. His variety drops a flower, just sets another flower, just keeps blooming. It's beautiful, beautiful colors.
Sweet Bubba.
I mean, way better plants.
Sweet Bubba.
We gave up the old native. We just have his. And so how many patents do you guys have from that?
Around 25 patents on different plants, trees, shrubs.
They're creating new life. They get a patent on it. And then they're the ones that own that plant. We get to sell them here because we're friends. So it's kind of, he stays at our house. It kind of he comes up every year. And so our fathers knew each other. It's just kind of one of those kind of generational farms. So you brought a plant with you.
Yep. I've got lots of plants. This particular plant.
Yep.
Little Giant.
Put it right here so that people online can see you.
This is an easily overlooked plant.
Magical plant.
But in about a month, it's going to put on a bloom. And you're thinking it's a red yucca type, which the red yuccas sort of get tall and then get too wide. And then they bloom for about 6 weeks. But 6 weeks is a good amount of time. But 5 months is a better amount of time. And the difference between 6 weeks and 5 months is a lot more joy happens in 5 months than 6 weeks. And this plant grows at a predictable size. This plant used to have a lot of variability in its size. It could have been 10 by 10, could have been 4 by 4. 10 by 10, 8 by 8 is not an acceptable size for most people's yards. And this plant now is 4.5 by 4.5. So by this, The blooms are here, 6.5 feet for 5 months. And those blooms are pink and they attract hummingbirds and butterflies, pollinators to your yard with very little water needed or any. It's the only maintenance you have to do is cut the bloom down in October in a nice time of the year when it's cool. You want to get out in your garden and put your garden to bed. And it's called Little Giant. It'll take down to -20. -20 and it will take 120. So it's very low water, very easy maintenance, and will give you joy, smiles on your face. You'll invite hummingbirds to your yard, and it will fill a nice corner in your yard. And the blooms, not just one bloom, 4 or 5 blooms, 6 blooms here, pink, all summer. It's called Little Giant. And my little brother created it. This is a crossed plant. And now you have predictability. And why does it bloom longer? Because it does not set seed. And Ken alluded to when things set seed, they stop blooming. This doesn't set seed, just like the tree, Sweet Bubba, doesn't set seed.
And you'll only find this plant at one garden center
It's
in
true,
town,
actually.
or
Yeah.
I guess around the state, but we're
In
those places
Prescott,
up and
yeah.
down
Yep.
that's got this plant
Yep.
because we're friends. We go back in
Mhm.
time. This is a magic plant. We need to plant more of these. Red yuccas is more famous because everyone sees it, but this blooms way longer. It's a little bit bigger, more upright, stands up to the wind. It's a better plant. So
Yep. 4.5 by 4.5.
Chris
Yeah.
Shipley, give your brothers and your dad, tell Les I said
Well,
I miss him. I want to see him again. So
thank you.
take this away from you
Yep.
and kind of give it up for Chris.
Can that grow in a pot?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Move that mic.
Yep.
Is a local, lives here in town, but he represents basically all of Arizona for Monrovia Nurseries. So Monrovia is kind of the Cadillac or the Lexus dealer of plants. They grow consistent, better, fuller, nicer, just healthier plants. They've got a farm that is to die for, like 1,400 acres. Well, you got multiple farms, but we go up there just to see it. And they turn, is it 75 years or is it 100? 100 years old in August.
Yes.
So we're going up to the party. We're taking the whole team to the party. So let me give you this.
All right.
So Jim Roop is Monrovia. So all the Monrovia green buckets you see, we like that brand. Our families go way, way, way back. So we got 64 years in. I think Harold was one of the first garden centers in Arizona to start bringing Monrovia plants in. And we've just gotten stronger and better ever since because they just live and they don't get ugly. Some plants, you put them in the ground, they start to get ugly. They just get more beautiful. So Jim Roop, thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, I mean, it's great that we're both celebrating decades of business and
Right.
many decades together. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So,
We've had the owners of Monrovia here at the store. It's been like 10 years, but they've been at our store helping us merchandise. This is a big company, but the owners we're family and we're friends. They just come in to help us be better at what we do. So way back, how long have you been in the industry?
the industry, 50 years.
that
No,
loud.
not that.
Don't
No, maybe 40, 45 years probably.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And with
yeah.
Monrovia the whole
Monrovia,
time? Or-
no, Monrovia, 39 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm losing track, but I think 39.
39. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
So he lives here in town. I said, when you retire, you have a job. Come work for me. Just talk plants to customers, please. So you can make your own schedule. Do whatever you want. I'll pay you whatever. So anyway,
Oh, pay me whatever. Okay. It's on recording. But yeah, my name is Jim Roop with Monrovia Growers. It's great to be here and to help Ken celebrate the spring coming up here. So we're off to a good start with this awesome weather. I think last year we had 4 inches of snow. So, but I just wanted, talk about a couple of my favorite
sounds good.
vines. And I like these because they're late spring or early spring to mid-spring blooming vines. You know, there's a lot of vines bloom early, some are more later summer, but I'm going to touch on these because they bloom a little bit earlier.
Yeah, bring them over here to the camera. People can see them like right over here. Perfect. Nice tall plant. Here, we'll put the chair right
All
here.
right.
There we go. Beautiful.
How many? This chair's not going to last much longer.
It's got like 5 years in it.
Yeah.
It's got another 5 years into it.
I think I've been putting plants on it for 15 at least. So, the first is Ladybank's rose. Is one of your earliest rose to bloom. And the Ladybanks come in yellow and they come in a white. And just a little quick history here on the Ladybank's rose. Arizona is famous for a little history of Ladybank's rose. The biggest rose probably in the world is called the Tombstone Rose, which is down in Tombstone, Arizona. When I first started selling for Monrovia in the desert area, I went down there and people were saying, hey, can I get some of the Tombstone roses? I said, well, we don't grow a Tombstone rose, I'm sorry. And then finally, a customer set me straight a few days later and said, yeah, you do sell the Tombstone rose. It's called Ladybank's rose. And I said, well, why do you call it a Tombstone rose? They said, well, because the largest Ladybank's rose in the world, if not the largest rose, is grown in Tombstone, Arizona. So it's like, yeah, but the history of that is it goes back to 1885 is when a little cutting or start of a rose was sent over from Scotland to a lady who was homesick. Her husband was mining in the Tombstone area. She was homesick, so family sent her a care package of stuff from Scotland. And in there was a Ladybank's rose, a little start, and she planted it, and it's been growing ever since. The trunk is probably, I don't know if that wide. It's beautiful ribbony red bark to it. It's just, the top is probably about almost an acre, and that's only because they keep cutting it back. Otherwise, they'd even be larger. But if you can ever make it there, it usually blooms about April to see it. It's well worth the
It's
visit
worth
to
the
see.
trip to Tombstone.
Yeah.
If you're a gardener, it's worth a road trip. It's magnificent.
But going back to
That's the
the,
yellow one, right? That one in Tombstone?
I think it's white.
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure. I don't remember actually.
Okay.
But the great thing about the Ladybank's rose is, like I say, it blooms earlier, so it gives you some early bloom, but it's a very bulletproof rose. I sell all over the state of Arizona, so I sell to Phoenix and Tucson, and it's a key rose down there because it's one of the few vines that actually takes full sun, put it in a hot area, even reflect the heat down there. It does well. So if you got a hot spot up here that you just need something for that's going to take the heat in the sun, a Ladybank's rose is the perfect plant for you.
I love Ladybanks because it's one of the only roses. It might be the only rose that doesn't have thorns. It's just soft.
Yeah.
It stays green. It grows fast. It's a climber, so it's going to wants to go up stuff.
And when it blooms, it's just a mass of color too.
Yeah.
So, and makes a good early pollinator too, because it's blooming earlier when a lot of stuff isn't. So the bees like it.
Tell us about that vine.
My next favorite vine is the tangerine crossvine. This one here, it's an evergreen. It's in the summer, the leaves will get a little plum color, or excuse me, in the winter, we'll get a little plum color, but otherwise it's evergreen, nice green leaves to it. And then it blooms fairly early, mid-spring here, usually probably going to bloom more like April here with these pretty orange flowers to it, which the hummingbirds like. They like this tubular type flower. So it's a great hummingbird. If you want a hummingbird garden too, could be part of that. It's another vine that I'd really recommend it, putting it in your hottest area you have your house, because it really likes the heat, and it would benefit from a southern exposure in the winter to keep getting that heat in the sun and all that.
Hotter the better.
Hotter
Take
the
a blow
better.
dryer to it. Just curse at it, kick dirt at it. It's gonna like the hot, hard to grow spots in your yard. A pergola that's just out there, exposed
Yeah.
to the wind. It's gonna love that. Fence that's south facing with sun's coming off that block wall. It's gonna love that. I think it's a better plant than honeysuckle. We sell a lot more honeysuckle because there's so much of it around. People just go, I want one of those. Here, I got if I were in my yard, I'd rather plant a crossvine. Just to bulletproof, stays greener, better, has bigger flowers. One more plant, and then I gotta let
Okay.
Aaron come up.
Okay. So this plant here, orange jasmine, it's called. It's not a true jasmine, but I don't think I've talked to you about this plant.
I showed it off yesterday, but I was doing some research.
Okay.
I'd love to hear it.
So I live here in Prescott. I live in Mountain Club, and I was driving home last fall in early October by the new Airstream Airbnb park. And it's October, and I'm driving by where they planted, stuff. It's pretty new, but it's been there a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I saw this shrub so tall, blooming orange, and I'm like, early October, something blooming orange. Something's not making any sense here. So I pull over on the road there, get out, and I'm looking, and sure enough, it's one of these orange jasmine blooming and growing. And I looked at it, and the trunk was kind of large. And so I know it's like, oh, this has been here a winter or two.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I think this plant actually could work here. And we listed as zone 7, but I was always just a little skeptical. But after seeing it actually blooming here and realizing it had been growing there for a couple of years, it's like, oh, I need to.
That's in a commercial setting. Commercial
Yeah.
settings are not the best. It's like every camper at an Airstream throws their soda on it, their dogs pee all over it, the car exhaust. It's thriving.
Yeah, it was
Just
doing
right.
good. So it's like, this could be a new plant for the area here. Loves the heat here we have here, and it takes full sun. In the wintertime, I'm guessing it's probably going to kind of die down a bit and then come back up pretty vigorously from how I saw it growing there. But yeah,
So orange, peel, jasmine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Orange, peel, jasmine.
not a true
We'll
jasmine.
walk them over here. It doesn't smell. It
No.
looks like a jasmine, acts like a jasmine, doesn't smell like a jasmine.
Yeah.
But it's orange.
But it's-
jasmine
yeah.
doesn't come in orange.
And it's like when I saw it, it was pretty showy. I mean, it made me stop and get out of the car and look at it. So
Cool. All right, Jim Roop, thank you for coming and just taking care of us for so many decades.
thank you for the opportunity.
Aaron Lamb, Trees of Corrales. Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Man, give me your microphone. Hey, Aaron, get over here. Trees of Corrales. They're out of Albuquerque. Again, we're always looking for hardy. They're at high altitudes, same climate, same water, but they grow the really funky, like native hardcore stuff that you can't find anywhere else. That's their specialty. And so Aaron is, beautiful. I was showing that off yesterday. I can't believe you guys are growing that. It's amazing. So 4 o'clock. I want it to bloom in March though. There you go. So tell us about Trees of Corrales. How did you get to work for them? That's like a cool farm. How do you get a cool job like that?
How's everybody doing today? I just got lucky and I like plants. So let me get this on here. Trees of Corrales is in Corrales, New Mexico, which is just north of Albuquerque. And it's actually really similar conditions, zone, climate, really similar to Prescott. Trees of Corrales has about 80 acres, so we're not a huge farm, but we're probably one of the biggest in New Mexico. And then we have another comparable about 80 at our Fort Sumner farm. We do a lot of trees, a lot of field trees, a lot of B&B trees that we dig out of the ground, a lot of containers, and then a little bit of everything else as well. So we specialize in a lot of low water native plants, xeric stuff, whether it's true native or whether it's from some other part of the world. That's kind of our specialty. We definitely, dabble into some of these beautiful, really kind of boofy, gorgeous flowering things, but some of these natives I think are really beautiful as well and are what you absolutely should be planting in your yard. This is showy milkweed. And normally these would not be awake yet. They wouldn't even be out of the ground probably. So these are ahead of schedule, but this is a really, really cool native plant. Where you would see this growing naturally would probably be on kind of roadsides or areas that might catch a little bit of excess water after it rains. This plant for us is one of the #1 host plants for the monarch caterpillar. So it gets a big, gorgeous pink flower on it. And it's a big plant too. I mean, we're talking, up to 4 foot or in that range. And like a lot of the milkweeds, it will send out runners, root runners, and it kind of forms a little colony where it is. But huge pink flower, pollinators absolutely love it. It's a great nectar source for the monarchs, but it's a food source for the caterpillars. So you guys may not know that some milkweeds are really more a food source for the butterflies, whereas certain ones the caterpillars really feed off of, and they'll deposit their little egg on some leaf on the plant, and then you find that little caterpillar at some point. So if you want monarchs and you want to help them, you want to have a good nectar source, which a lot of these guys have been talking about, great for pollinators. Well, this one will feed the caterpillars. So it's just a really, really tough plant. Once you get this in, you should have it, assuming that it's not a super xeric area. It's not, drying out and just baking hot. As long as you're giving it some water, you should have this forever at that point.
I don't know if you've ever seen a monarch caterpillar. It's the most beautiful caterpillar. Striped black and yellow, about that big. They like to conquer. You have more than just one. You got a little colony of them. They're just cute as can be. They eat some foliage, but if you're okay with that, they just love. I mean, it's just like I plant things like that just for the monarchs, the butterflies. Go.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm a big birder, and I'm just a big nature person in general. So I want to encourage as much diversity as possible into my yard. And so having something that's also a food source for your butterflies, for the caterpillars is just really nice. This is Desert 4 o'clock. For those of you who are not familiar, it has a nice, purpley pink flower on it. The flower opens up in the evening or when it gets enough shade on it. The hummingbird moths really like these. The hummingbirds will hit them like crazy at the right time of day in the evening when they're awake, or even early morning if the flowers are still open. This plant also would not be awake right now, or if it was, it would just barely be pushing out of the surface. So these are ahead of schedule. This and kind of to the same degree, this is probably a lower water, tougher plant, but the tuberous root system that they have, once you have it, you should probably have it forever. I mean, it'd be very, very difficult to kill this plant. At the end of the season, it will just break off and blow away, or whatever happens. The top will die and the new growth will come back up from the roots. So keep in mind that if you're a xeric loving person and this is something that would work well in your yard, these can get wide. They can easily get to be 3 foot plus, and then probably about a 1.5 feet or so tall, maybe a little taller. You should always have this plant. So just keep in mind, it's one of those ones that will die all the way back, but it is just tough as nails. It's native, tough xeric plant.
True perennial.
Really.
Ground, they come back fresh every spring, come back up. But it's a summer through fall, beautiful bloomer, and you can't kill it.
True natives too. These are all native plants here.
This is the only one I know that grows that. I was so excited to see that come online. We've got to have a block of those.
So this is chocolate flower, and it gets its name because it does smell like chocolate. Yeah. Now it's really cool. So in the early part of the day, when you have this thing covered with flowers, you walk by and you just smell this chocolate scent. It's really nice. Later in the day, the flowers kind of just get a little bit tired, and then you can't smell that scent as profusely. If you have tough conditions and you have, sandy, gravelly, hot, chocolate flower is awesome. It can reseed, it will reseed, but I think for some people's situations, it might be a really nice thing. Great pollinator plant. Also, a lot of these different native species and others that are not native, those little lesser goldfinches that you see and some of the other bird species, but especially those little lesser goldfinches will eat the seed on them. So you'll see them on chocolate flower, blanket flower, things like some of those smaller stature plants, other than your sunflowers and other things that you kind of traditionally think about them with. But so it's a great seasonal food source, but really just kind of a cool native, and it's one of those fun ones for kids or other people who are like, check this out, smell this flower. So
if you like chocolate donuts, that's your plant, because that's what it smells like. Chocolate. You'd swear you're right by a bakery or something. That's there's a block of this down at Charlotte Hall in their native gardens. If you've not been to the gardens at Charlotte Hall Museum, you got to go. It's beautiful. maybe wait a month till things start to really sort of grow. But it's a beautiful garden. They've got a whole block of this chocolate flower out there. It just makes the entire courtyard smell like chocolate donuts, really.
And so Trees of Corrales, we take pride in our location, our high elevation situation. Our plants are hardy, they're tough, they acclimate and fit into the Prescott landscape and surrounding area perfect. I mean, the zones line up, but we, you know, it's a challenge to grow plants, especially to make them look really nice for the retail side of things, especially some of these different natives. I've worked for Trees of Corrales for almost 6 years now. I was on the retail garden side before that. I've planted a ton of that product prior to me even working there in my own yard, in other people's landscapes, and we've always had phenomenal success. I feel like sometimes you'll have certain product and it may not transition into your landscape as well, but we really try to make sure that these plants, we want them to look really nice, but we want them to do really well for you in your yard.
So if you're on a desert island, you can only take one plant. What would the one plant be that you could take with you?
Gosh, that's
That my customers can actually buy today. You can't go some obscure things.
Oh gosh, that's such a hard question.
Just one.
I guess you know what? I'll throw this one out there. There's a gray creeping germander. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's an evergreen.
Yeah.
Smells really good. Beautiful pink flowers. Has all seasons of interest. Is a great pollinator plant. Is just tough as can be. If you guys are not familiar with that one, it gets to be about 6 inches or maybe a little bit taller, and then can easily go to maybe 3 foot wide. So it'll be this big mat forming. When it blooms, it's literally covered with blossoms, and the pollinators and butterflies, the honeybees, other pollinators, other native bees are all over it. Great creeping.
That's a good choice.
Gray creeping germander, and there's a few different. It's under a few different species names. It's a Tacreum is the germanders, but they're all great. They're absolutely great.
Give me your microphone. Give it up for Aaron Lamb. Trees of Corrales. They grow some of the best high altitude plants anywhere, literally anywhere. And yep, thank you. And that's what I have for you today. We're exactly 1 hour going here. Let me give you a little bit of advice and I'll let you go. And I'll make sure you put your email down on that list. I'll get you that top 10 plant list, how to plant. You should be fertilizing now. Plants are going to wake up. They're waking up early and they're going to be hungry. Don't let them starve as they go into this new flush of growth. So you want to put down this all-purpose plant food. We make this down in Casa Grande. This is my recipe. We've been tweaking that for a lot of years. Fertilizer is kind of like a cookie recipe. Plants will respond to it certain ways. This is for our plants at this elevation. It's all natural. It's not a bunch of chemical fertilizers. It's cottonseed meal, bird guano, iron, sulfur, some things that makes plants green, bloom. And so you want to fertilize, especially take care of your evergreens. They are struggling. We're seeing waves of customers coming in right now with scale on the pinyon pines, bark beetles on the ponderosas. I think you're going to see death and decay in your neighborhoods for those that didn't take care or nurture or garden, kind of hug and look after their evergreens. And you know, a ponderosa pine that goes south on you, there's no replacing that in anyone's lifetime. Really care for those. Some of you have you built your patios around ponderosas. Really care. They're struggling because of the heat, and it was dry. So the bark beetles never went dormant. They've been eating underneath the bark. They've been eating that wood layer under the bark all winter. Normally we freeze and it slows them down or it actually kills them off. You got colonies now that are larger. So fertilize those trees, especially your natives. And then for the last thing, so all of my valuable evergreens, I'm treating them with tree and shrub drench. That's Bill Jones Fertilome. This is it's a systemic. So you do not need to be an arborist to use this. All you do is you measure the trunk, however many inches around, the tree is. Say it's a 12-inch pinyon pine. You put 12 ounces of this in your watering can, top it off with water, and then pour it right at the base where the trunk meets the soil. Put it right there. Then the tree will actually absorb this and go up underneath the bark and treat the tree for a year. Super easy to use. You just have to know when to use it now, and you have to be aware to use it. So if plants are struggling, don't let your trees, but if you come to me in June or the end of May, you know, oh, my ponderosa just lost all its needles, it's too late. There's no recovery. It died months ago. It just, with the first hot weather, the tree was girdled by bark beetle, had enough moisture left in it until the first hot day, and then it just sheds all of its needles like that. Literally within a week, it's dead. And there's no recovery. And I see this every single start of summer, every year. I don't want that for my friends. I want you to have better trees. This is your go-to. For me, I don't have ponderosas in my backyard. I've got pinyon pines. And they have scale. You're going to have scale. So I just treat my pinyon pines every year with this, and I fertilize it. And I've got beautiful, lush, tropical looking pinyon pines because I take care of them. Yeah. This you do once a year. Do it now. And then it should treat the tree. And then this is a better product than you'd see at like Walmart or something. They've got drenches too. This one will actually translocate. It will keep up with the new growth as well. So it treats the current growth, and then it also protects the new growth coming out. It's a better recipe, better plant. It's a better product. So we choose this one because it works better. So anyway, that's good question. I would do all my pine trees. I've just seen this wave of customers coming in, and I'm sensing, I think it's going to be worse than we think it is. So I'm just letting you know, put it on your radar. If you're looking at your pine trees and you see whole pinholes in the bark, that's a bark beetle. You have an issue. If you see little dots on the pinyon pines, like someone took a number 2 pencil and drew a little dot on there, that's a scale. It's going to suck the plant dry. So just kind of walk through, take a look. If you're not sure, bring a sample in, put it in a Ziploc baggie if you could. We'll put it under the microscope. We'll look at it. We can ID it in a heartbeat. Again, we see this. We got waves of gardeners coming in. I'm just letting you know what I'm seeing in other neighborhoods. So yeah. Vanderwolf is not as prone to that, but I would keep an eye on it. I have seen, there's been one other season, probably 15 years ago when we saw this happen. And it did actually, the bark beetle went into Vanderwolfs. It even got into spruce trees. I was stunned. So it was an epidemic. And they seem to like evergreens, conifers specifically. But I'm really worried about the natives. So kind of keep an eye on it. So, okay. With that, I'll let you go. Thank you very much. Clipboard. Thanks, you all. And I'll hang out as long as you all want, or come look at the plants, talk to our growers, or hanging out all day with us.
Is it evergreen only or just all trees?
I don't think you have to do all trees. It's kind of overkill. I'm seeing mainly that it's getting on the conifers.
I have like an over 30-year-old ponderosa pine tree. It's probably 36, 40 inches trunk across. So I'm like,
Yeah, I would for sure treat that just to protect it. Yeah, that might take a whole quart for that side. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Yeah.
Okay. Sulfur.
Yep.
How often do I need to resulfur the soil?
Usually you do it only in the spring because it breaks down real slowly. So sulfur, you're just trying to correct the pH, which is good. I mainly do it in the spring. And then our fertilizer has sulfur added to it. So that'll kind of keep it going. But I definitely front load my gardens with sulfur in the spring. So fertilize now with the all-purpose and put sulfur down and you're good.
Can you overdo it?
It's hard to overdo it. You could if you had a container. Like I've killed a plant because I put sulfur in the container. It was such a micro shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Out in the yard, it's virtually impossible to overdo it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good news. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You betcha.
The